Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. This is your full moon in Gemini reading. Thank you so much for being a member of the Time Travelers program. I really do appreciate your support. So I will be honest with you, the Aries and Taurus readings were heavy. Good, but heavy. And I expect yours will be the same, especially because this is a full moon in your sign, in our sign. Most of you know I'm a Gemini sun. So let's see where we go with this message. Tapping into the Gemini collective now for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the full moon in Gemini message here? What is the full moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Release. Card number 42. And bottom of the deck, friendship. Card number 17. And then you have magic, which always reminds me of like the magician energy. There could be a connection here in your life, a friendship that you need to release. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this here for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Let's get a Moonology card here for Gemini. And full moons are actually all about releasing. And card 42 reduces to 6. Some of you could be a June Gemini. Not all, but some of you could be. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Moonology card. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Maybe for some of you, this is a Taurus that you need to release. Bottom of the deck, take time to breathe out. Disseminating moon. Right behind that, you have expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. Okay. Let's get into tarot. Tell me more about release here. Release and friendship. What does Gemini need to know about this? I feel like you have a... I mean, it says friendship. We'll see what tarot shows, but I feel like you and this person, like your paths crossed at some point, but you're now going in separate directions. Like maybe there was magic in this connection. Oh, right behind that, transform, which is scorpionic energy. So maybe at some point there was a reason you came together with this person. It was magic in the moment, but now you're like going your own separate ways. So it could be a friend for some of you, or it could be a romantic partner, where now the relationship has become like friendship. It transformed. Let's see where we go with this message. Tell me more about this here. Release and friendship for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What do they need to know about release and friendship? One more shuffle here. Thank you. 9 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, the Death card. There's that transformation. And Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck, King of Pentacles. Well, there's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. The High Priestess and the 10 of Pentacles. That leaves the 8 of Wands, Temperance, 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands here at the bottom of the deck. I think there is a connection here in your life. And take this how it resonates to you, okay? But keep in mind that full moons are all about releasing. So for some of you, there's a connection in your life that maybe at some point started romantic in nature, and now it has transformed over time, and you and this person are like existing as friends. Or the connection, it's just like you're going your own separate ways, right? It was magic in the beginning, and now not so much. And I feel like there's a message here for you to release it and become free, single, and independent of it. Although some of you may be confused or even scared about moving on from the connection, right? Ending the connection. Some of you are giving like considerable thoughts with that Page of Wands, but there's still some trepidation or worry here about doing that. So for others of you, yeah, for some of you, that very well could be a romantic partnership. And maybe for some of you, it ended already. Like I know my ex-husband and I was magic in the beginning, and then we went our own separate ways, and now we're friends. But maybe there's a need, if I want to interpret this for myself, to actually like fully release him and let him go, since our paths have parted and we're now divorced and we have separate lives with separate partners. It could be something like that. And for others of you, it actually could be a friendship that when you met this person, it was magic and you became fast friends and best friends. And there's a need here now for you to become single, free, and independent of it. I feel like the 9 of Pentacles is showing up here as our energy, like what we're supposed to be, which is single, free, independent, and autonomous of this connection in our life, whether it started as friends or it degraded over time into that. Tell me more about Gemini's energy here in this Nine of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Five of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, and the Queen of Swords. There you are, whether you're masculine or feminine. It's interesting. In one of the other readings, bottom of the deck, we have Page of Cups, we have Two of Cups, we have Queen of Pentacles. So could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Doesn't have to be. So for some of you, and I feel like I have a couple of different groups here. So I want you to take the messages how they resonate to you. But I want to begin by explaining how I see the Queens in Tarot. For those of you, maybe you haven't heard me say this before. I typically look at all four Queens in Tarot as existing in the present based upon their past experiences. And the past experiences are all the cards in their suit, in their respective suit, that lead up to them becoming queen. And so, I'm not biased here as a Gemini sun, but I do think that although all four queens are forged through fire and the experiences of their suit, the Queen of Swords being the air queen, right, for Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, is maybe a little bit more bitter and a little bit more discerning, because the cards that precede her, I feel, are the most difficult in the minor arcana portion of tarot, right? You start off with the Ace of Swords, and you have this great epiphany, opportunity, conversation, and suddenly now you get into the Two Swords and you have to make a decision. And if you make the wrong decision, or the path, something goes wrong on the path, you end up in the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak and disappointment. And then you have to go into the Four of Swords. I don't know why I was going to point there, so maybe we're going to see the Four of Swords in this reading. But then we go into the Four of Swords and we're meditating and contemplating and we're trying to heal and find some respite from that Three of Swords experience we just had. And we get back out there into the world. And if we're not careful, we end up in the Five of Swords. So there's clashes and arguments and disagreements and strife. And sometimes that Five of Swords can be extremely unpleasant. It can be gaslighting or manipulation or lying. And then we get into the Six of Swords and we're like, okay, I'm going to move on from that. And if we're not careful, we end up in the Seven of Swords. So we're either sabotaging ourselves at that point or engaging in another situation, environment, or connection that is, deceiving us in some way. And we go right back to Five of Swords, Three of Swords. And from there, that point on, we're in Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, which are all Gemini placements. And they're very difficult cards. So the Queen, you're showing up here. I feel like you already know this, that it's time in this Wheel of Fortune energy, which is Sagittarius energy, and this full moon in Gemini is happening in Sagittarius season, our opposite sign. I think you know that it's time to let go whomever or whatever this is. It's time to release them for whatever reason, because at some point in our connection with this person, we experienced Three of Swords, Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, which led us to the 8, 9, and 10. And 10s are the end. And so whether you're masculine or feminine, with whatever this connection is in your life, you are aware based upon the past experiences of it that it's time to let it go. And although there's some remorse and regret in letting this go, this isn't a happy letting go. You still know that it's time to wield that sword of truth, that Ace of Swords, and release this individual. And like I said, for some of you, it could be an ex, like in my case with my ex-husband, where we're still friends. At some point we were King and Queen of Pentacles, right? We were in it for the long run at some point, and now we're not. And so that would be a romantic connection that degraded over time into a friendship. And now we're going our separate ways. And maybe now it is time to fully release him. And he just happens to be a Taurus, by the way, new moon in Taurus. And for others of you, there's something here in regards to a friendship where, when you met this person, regardless of their zodiac sign, everything was great and it was magic and you got along, but the two of you have grown and you've changed. Maybe some of you aren't separated from this person. Maybe they're currently in your life. Maybe it's not like my situation where I'm divorced from my ex. Maybe you're still with this person, but the relationship has degraded to friendship. Like the romantic relationship has degraded to friendship. And there's some remorse and regret with that, but it's still time to be honest that it's time to release that person or the connection. So take it how it resonates to you, whether you have exited the connection, but you're still in contact with the person like I am, or the romantic partnership has degraded into friendship and it's time to release that person, or if it actually is a friendship to you. And it's like the two of you are no longer on the same page. But Seven of Cups, there's some fears or doubts or confusions, maybe even a little trepidation there about, well, when do I do this? Or how do I do this? Or do I even want to do this? So tell me about the Seven of Cups, the fears, doubts, insecurities. Make sure that mic is on. We're still post-shadow Mercury retrograde. You never know. You never know. Tell me more about these Seven of Cups, dear. One more shuffle. Thank you. Four of Wands. There's the Eight of Swords, right? I was saying 8, 9, 10 of Swords. And the Chariot. So there is worry here. If you're resonating with this message, Queen of Cups, whether you're masculine or feminine. 10 of Swords, like literally the worst card in the suit. Although for Gemini, it's astrologically not bad. It's the placement of the sun in Gemini, which is it can't get any worse. So whatever this person is, either at some point in time you had love for them, or you currently do, or affection or admiration, but it's changed. And there's a lot of confusion here about, well, do I want to keep this former lover in my life as a friend? Or do I want to continue moving forward with this romantic partnership, even though we're just existing as friends now? Or should I just let them go? Should I release them? And if it's a friendship, at one point, this person was part of my Four of Wands. They were part of my happiness. I welcomed them into my home. I celebrated occasions with them. They welcomed me into their home. They celebrated their occasions with me. So there is a lot of anxiety or concern, a lot of mental processing here about whether or not to fully move on from this individual. Because again, there is a level of love or respect or admiration for them. Tell me about the Death card energy here for Gemini. Tell me about the Death card energy here for Gemini. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Death card is clarified by the Six of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the World card. Bottom of the deck, King of Swords. So, got the King to the Queen of Swords here. Interesting. Behind the King of Swords, we have the Sun. Okay, well, there's your moment of clarity. So I look at the Queens as I'm existing in the present because of my past. And then I look at the Kings in Tarot as now based upon the knowledge of the Queen. And since the Queen experienced a whole suit of cards, now I can take that knowledge and now I know how to move forward. Now I've gained enlightenment of my suits and I can move forward accordingly. So there is something here that regardless of your doubts, fears, or anxieties, there is victory and success when you disconnect or disengage from this individual. And I feel the energy of the full moon in Gemini is giving you the clarity you need, lovers, to make that choice. Lovers to the moon. So in this energy of the full moon in Gemini, you can either release this individual, right? You could do a cord cutting ceremony or do a full moon ritual release, or you're just gaining the clarity. So it depends. I don't know which group you're in. Some of you already have the clarity. In that case, you have several days now in the energy of this full moon, because it's quite potent, to release this individual. And for others of you, you're gaining clarity that this is something you need to do or a choice that you need to make. But the connection itself does need to exit your life. And I know some of you don't want to hear that. Let's see where we go with the message, because prosperity lies ahead. So this connection is a block for you in some sense, either blocking out a true committed partner from coming in, or it could be a financial block to you if you're staying in a partnership that was romantic but eroded to friendship, but you're only staying in it for financial reasons. It could actually not only be an emotional block to you from like meeting like the real person or the one for you, but it could be a financial block if you're staying there for financial resources. And we see that here with the King of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. It actually could be stifling your growth. And so I'll be quite honest with you. I had a great career in accounting. And when I got married, married life gets in the way. And I kind of ended up giving that up, albeit not the fault of the marriage. It was 9/11. And I had a lot of difficulty going back into the city after what had occurred on that day. It was my own emotional, mental processing because of that. So anyway, so after that, I sort of played it safe and I decided to partner with him and work for his company. And then we legitimately became partners in the company. And so my finances now really became entangled with his, because prior to that, he had his job, I had my job. But once we started working together and then actually bought into the business, now we were financially enmeshed. And then when we relocated here to the town that I'm in now, I ended up not going back to working for our company, right? I ended up leaving our company and getting involved in my township government, volunteerism, all of that stuff. And now I became financially dependent on him more than I ever was prior to all of that. And so there was an enmeshment there that kept me there. And my prosperity was not regained My like financial independence was not regained until I left. Staying in that marriage actually was a financial block to me because I became very dependent, reliant on his financial resources because I was just living on savings and his money. That kind of was the deal we had. So yeah, staying in that was a financial block to me. And with the divorce, I know not everyone could do this. Some people get alimony, some people don't. I just wanted freedom. For me, freedom was more valuable. But had I taken that, I could have, in the state I'm in, I could have stayed tied to him financially for 10 years. I don't know if I would have launched this business. I don't know if I would be where I'm at right now, rebuilding my wealth and regaining pride and confidence in myself in that entire process. Had I just been dependent on him sending me a check, it would have been no different than staying married to him, right? So staying in that was a block. So for some of you, you're staying in this relationship, which has eroded to friendship and has no growth, but you're staying in it for financial resources. It actually is a block to your financial resources. And for others of you, you have this friendship in your life that is a block for some reason to your resources. So I want to clarify the Page of Wands. I don't want to get too deep on that message for you. And I certainly don't want to lecture you with like my old lady finger here wagging in your face. But the Page of Wands tells me you're already looking at this. The page is looking at all of this. So you're already processing, yeah, I need to let go of this friend, or I need to let go of this ex, or I need to move on from this partner, right? You're already inquisitive within. Tell me more about this Page of Wands. I feel like this is also your energy. Like you're looking at all this like, I think it's time to go. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Justice, Three of Swords, and the Hermit. Wow. It's not easy to say goodbye to the ex, right? It's not easy to break away from this romantic partner. It's not easy to walk away from this friend. And so I do think that you're doing a lot of soul searching and a lot of contemplation about what is the just and fair thing for me. And I feel like for me, this is now in respect to a friendship in my life. It could be a family connection as well. I mean, we're leaving that out of the equation, but it certainly could be, especially with the Four of Wands. This could be a family member, and you really are only on a friendship basis with them. And for one reason or another, they're a block to your finances, and you're not seeing that. And that High Priestess, it is hidden from you that you staying connected to this individual, whoever they are, King, Queen of Pentacles, and they don't have to be an earth sign, but there's someone who's been in your life for a while. Why are they a block to Gemini's money? They're a block to your abundance. Now, it could be emotional abundance, just so the Ten of Wands. They're a hindrance, and you're not even seeing it, right? Because in the Ten of Wands, where's that card at? In the Ten of Wands, you can't even look down because you're carrying so much on your back. So some of us are not even realizing that staying connected to this person is a block to our finances. Why? What is the block? So it's either a block to finding a stable, consistent partner, right? Because King, Queen of Pentacles are in it for the long run. Or finding a friend or friend group that would be more like that. Why is this person a block? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Why are they a block? Two of Cups, Judgment, and the Star. Bottom of deck, Temperance. Two of Wands and Tower to the Devil. So this person is toxic in nature. This person is toxic in nature or has made you codependent on them in some way. Like the example I was giving you about myself from years ago, where I was kind of felt trapped in this marriage because now he was not only the breadwinner, he was the sole bread provider. So it's like, well, how do I leave that? Well, I just decided to leave it one day. I took some savings and was like, I'm out. But some people aren't as fortunate as I am. They didn't have those savings to carry them on for a little bit, you know? So yeah, for some of you, this person, knowingly or unknowingly, has made you financially, Devil card to the Ten of Pentacles, financially dependent on them. And for others of you, it could be like emotional dependency as well. Devil to the High Priestess. I mean, if we're talking in terms of a friend or a family member, this could be someone who's a block to your abundance because maybe your religious or spiritual beliefs are no longer aligned. Maybe you're now like becoming like High Priestess and they're stuck more in that very conforming devil energy. And maybe interacting with someone like that is a block to your financial resources. sometimes devil to the high priestess to the 10 of pentacles could be that this person is secretly jealous of you. If it's a friend, secretly jealous of your success or your wealth, and them wishing you bad or thinking negatively of you is affecting your wealth. I'm not saying that they're doing black magic, but when they think negatively of you, they are sending negative energy your way. And I don't think you see this person this way. I think you see this person as a soulmate, whether it's the ex, the current person, or a friend, or a family member. You see them as a soulmate. They're not a soulmate. If they are with that devil card, devil to the 2 of cups, is they're karmic in nature. Okay. Tell me more about this here for Gemini. So I feel like prosperity lies ahead the moment we release this individual. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Emperor, the 9 of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. That is the truth. So releasing this ex or releasing the current partner brings in the divine counterpart that you want. Whether that's Emperor or Empress. I don't read body parts. You disconnecting from this friend brings in the financial abundance that you need. You releasing this family member brings in the financial abundance that you need. I think this person has been in your life for a long time, whether they're an ex, they're a spouse, or they're a friend, or they're a family member. Why is it... Why does Gemini need to release this person? I see here that they're a financial block to you. And I see here where you're having difficulty releasing them. But why does Gemini need to release them? I feel like because then your financial wealth and abundance and maybe even a love partner comes in when you do. Like, I don't even think you can have an energetic cord to this person. One more shuffle here. Thank you. 5 of Pentacles, leaving them out in the cold. Oh, I'm asking why do we need to release them? Because 5 of Pentacles, they are a block to our 10 of Pentacles. Either they're jealous and unknowingly, knowingly could be wishing you bad, but unknowingly just thinking poorly of you, being jealous of you. And for others of you, this person's holding you back. Like, you're financially tied or dependent on them. And so you're always, even though you feel secure in the connection, you're still at 5 of Pentacles because you're not financially abundant on your own. You're not free and independent and autonomous of them. And if it's a friend or family member, like that 3 of Cups could be friends or family, they either don't believe what you believe or they're very jealous of you. 6 of Cups. Yeah, it's a soulmate. Lovers, 6 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands. I don't think you realize how this person is affecting your money and your wealth. Some of you need a timeout. You need to take a timeout and you need to breathe, because I think it'll be difficult for you to release this person. But right behind that, you have expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. You know, we've got the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Cups, 6 of Cups is 8 Cups. 8 Cups is walking away. The 8 of Cups in the original Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck is the only card that shows an eclipse. So I think there's a need here for us to eclipse this person out of our life. And once we do, we can expect powerful change. Right behind that is full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. Or, you're not going to believe it. Right behind that says work through your fears, which are all these fears. New moon in Aries, time to take action. I think between now and Aries season, we need to release whoever this is. I don't think so much for me that it's my ex and we've become friends. I think that friendship will just disintegrate over time. We have no financial ties. I'm not dependent on him for anything. But I do have a friend that I know harbors some resentment for me. And I'm sure they're throwing daggers at me. Like, sometimes I could feel it. Like, in the conversation, you ever talk to someone, you could feel like they're not happy for your success or your achievement or some dream or goal that you have. You could feel it. And so for me, I feel like this is one of my friends. You're going to have to take this how it resonates to you. But this connection is no longer magic. It has transformed, and it is now a block either to a real life partner, divine counterpart, or to your financial abundance. Tell me a little bit more about this here for Gemini, and then we'll get you some advice. Anything else Gemini needs to know about this person? Anything else they need to know about this person? Ace of Pentacles. Everything I said is the truth. This person is stopping your forward movement, either from finding a solid person, a solid partner that, you know, can go to the 10 of Pentacles, have some longevity and stability to the connection, or financial independence for yourself. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The 5 of Swords and the Knight of Wands. Bottom of deck, 10 of Wands. Anything else you need to know about this person? They're not consistent and they're not happy for your happy. This person also, their pride and ego get in the way. This is a win at all cost. So this person is prideful and egoic. They do things for egoic reasons. And they have a win at all cost mentality, even if that cost comes at your financial or emotional abundance. Even if that means compromising that Ace of Pentacles for you. Let's get Gemini some advice here. Obviously, we need to release this person. And you might not see this. I'm reading this in the energy of the full moon. And I'm glad I did because I thought it would be very potent for us. But like I said, the energy is going to be with us for a while. And some of you, you need time to release this, right? Especially if it's someone you have an enmeshment of finances with. So maybe between now and Aries season or between now and Taurus season is something that you end up doing, or a plan that you put in place or something like that. So I'm certainly not expecting you to do all of this now, but you can ask for strength in the full moon to release this person. I was going to ask for your advice. Judgment to the 2 of Cups. I would ask for clarity so you can make the judgment call on this connection, on this partnership. I think there's a need here for you to make a judgment call, Gemini, and listen to your inner calling. Anything else Gemini needs to know about this? You know, and judgment is Pluto energy. Pluto will pull us through the underworld, right? Will drag us through the underworld. How long do you want to stay being drug, through the underworld because of this connection that is preventing your abundance, our abundance, or a divine counterpart from coming in? One more card here, please, for Gemini on this. 2 of Cups, Judgment, King to the Queen of Pentacles. You can't make it up. Bottom of the deck, Temperance, 5 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Whatever this is, this ex, this current lover, this friend, there's something practical about them, or you've known them for a long time, or they provide you with security, like financial security. There's an enmeshment there. But the Queen of Pentacles is the second decan of Capricorn. And we already saw Capricorn represented here by the devil. So there is a toxicity to this connection with this person. So outwardly, they might seem practical or down to earth or provide you with financial security. They could be very nurturing, motherly or fatherly towards you. But that doesn't mean that they're good for you. Anything else Gemini needs to know in terms of advice here? So there's a need here for you to make a judgment call in regards to this partnership or this relationship with this individual. For some of you, this could be a mother figure or a parental figure that you need to release. This person, if you're honest with yourself, isn't as nurturing as a mother should be. They treat you more like friends. Anything else Gemini needs to know about this connection? Any more advice? One more shuffle. Thank you. High Priestess to High Priestess. 7 of Cups, 7 of Cups. And the 8 of Pentacles, bottom of deck, Ace of Cups. I think if you start pouring into yourself, Eight of Cups. I think eventually we'll 8 of Cup this person. But I think to get through the confusion, the illusion here, in order to make a choice, right? Because sometimes the 7 of Cups is not necessarily spoiled for choice, but too confused to make a choice. I think we're able to make a choice, and we can make a choice from our intuition, right? Listening to our higher selves, the inner calling here. If we were to 8 of Pentacles to the Ace of Cups, and 8 of Pentacles could be a card of self-mastery in that respect. It's quality engagement with ourselves, pouring into ourselves, having love and compassion for ourselves, having overwhelming emotion for ourselves. So for some of us, a little love of self, or a little more love of self, would make us realize that this connection is a hindrance to what we really want. They're actually a block that we need to release. Our paths need to part, at least for now, as opposed to holding on to it in the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles to the Ten of Swords, as opposed to holding on to it, letting it go. I know for me it's a friendship, and it's going to be a tough one. Yeah. Okay. Let's get three last cards here for Gemini. So I would use this full moon, Gemini, just to bring this kind of full circle for you. I would ask for strength, courage, whatever it is that you need, clarity of mind, your own financial resources, in order for you to be able to move on from whomever this is. That's what I would ask for in the full moon. So perhaps then by the full moon in Cancer that we're having on January 3rd, maybe then you will be in a better state of mind to release this person, at least energetically. What else do you need to know? Six of Cups. I think you have nostalgia or memories here, and I think that's why you're not seeing this person clearly. There are some memories here. Could be a family member for some of you, but I feel like it has eroded. It transformed to friendship. Six of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Fool. Bottom of the deck, Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Six of Swords. I feel like that only comes in when we move away from whomever or whatever this is. When we take the leap of faith. And I think it begins now in the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, which is Sagittarius. And we're in Sagittarius season. That's our opposite sign. So I think right now in this full moon energy, if you're not ready to release this person or you're not financially equipped to do it, you certainly can ask for the strength, courage, and perseverance you need to release this person in time. Let's see, when will Gemini be releasing this connection? I don't want to say anything, but that Magic to the Friendship card, I mean, it could be for one or two of you watching that this person actually like wishes you bad. Like magic in terms of like black magic. I don't know if they would actually go that far, but it's possible. For one of you watching, that is a possibility. Can we get timing for Gemini on when they are fully releasing this person? Not every card in tarot is timing, but I'll look at this as well. We'll tap into that timing deck. When is Gemini releasing this person? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Ace of Swords. When you have the clarity of mind, when you realize that this person is a hindrance to your emotional Ten of Cups as well as your financial Ten of Pentacles abundance. When you have that breakthrough moment of mental clarity, that's when you have the raw power you need to move on from it. And for some of you, you know, for me, swords are weeks, and that's one sword. So for some of you, you're going to have this clarity within the next week that you need to release this person. Hierophant to the Seven of Pentacles. It very well could be a Taurus or someone you're married to, or someone who's just been a staple in your life for quite some time. Can we get anything else here on timing? Because remember, we're all on the same path, basically. That's why these messages resonate for the collective, but they might impact us differently. Like I said, so for some of us, it's an ex or a friend or a family member or a current lover where the relationship has eroded to friendship. But we're also at different points on that path. Some of you maybe already have the clarity of mind, the presence of mind to know this, and some of you are a little further behind. So don't feel pressured to do this in any of the times that I give you or that you see on any other tarot channel. You have to move accordingly on your path in a way and in a time frame that is best suited for you, not for us as the reader. Timing. You have the Five of Pentacles, which was odd the way it came out. So when you have that breakthrough moment, then you know that it's time to leave this person behind because they are a hindrance. That's twice we saw the Five of Pentacles. They are a hindrance to either your emotional or financial abundance. And for some of you, it's both. Anything else on timing here for Gemini? Anything else on timing? Four of Wands within 4 days. So some of you are having the epiphany moment within 4 days, or within 4 days of having the epiphany, you're going to create the plan to change your trajectory, because this is the 1111 card, right? Which would mean like changing your timeline, changing your life path to move in a different direction. Anything else on timing here? One more shuffle. Thank you. This is also the astrologically the sun in Aries. And this is the third decan in Aries. So for some of you, you might have the epiphany now, but actually not move on until Aries season. Maybe you need a planning period there for some reason. 3 of Cups, 3 months, which would put us almost nearing Aries season. We have to go through Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, but then it would be the start of Aries season. The bottom of the deck, the World card, and that's when you will officially close it out. So I would expect between now and the end of March for this connection either is no longer in your life or you have created a plan on how to exit it. Oh, 10 of Swords, how to end it. So yeah, some of you will end it between now and then, and others of you will just need to create the plan, especially if there's financial enmeshment there. Any other additional timing here for Gemini? And remember, do this at your own pace, not what tarot tells you. You will hear news soon. That's that aha epiphany moment. December, the aha epiphany moment in December, sooner than expected. So I would pay attention to your dreams, your downloads, your thoughts, your intuition. Maybe even keep a dream journal at this time, because you might wake up with some dreams that are trying to show you this, and you might not understand the dream. It might not fully correlate in that moment. And maybe you have to do some internet searches, you know. I dreamt of this. What does it mean? Or use ChatGPT. I did that about a week ago. Like I had this really weird dream, and I was like, what does it mean? And it gave me all the possibilities. And I was like, oh my God, I would have never, ever tied that scenario in the dream to that person or the experience I was having with them. So yeah, I would pay attention to your dreams, but sooner than expected. And then you've got August here, but I don't think that's a timing. We didn't pull that for timing. But yeah, you will hear news soon here in December, sooner than expected. This breakthrough moment is coming, that it's time to release this connection once and for all. That's what I have for you, Gemini. I told you it's going to be a pretty powerful message. Yeah, that's what I have for you. That is your full moon in Gemini reading. If you like that message, it resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you once again for being a time traveler, part of the membership program. I did want to say one quick thing about the membership program. I saw a few people leave comments about the price. It's only 2 or 3 people, but I did want to address that. I know that it's $24.99 a month, and I know that that is expensive, sounds expensive to many of you. I also want you to understand that YouTube takes $10.50 of that, so I'm left with $14.49. And then after that, I do have to pay state and federal taxes, which leaves me just under $10. So for me, I was like, well, it kind of is a lot, but then it isn't a lot because I'm producing now 48 additional videos a month for $10. And I don't know how many subscribers I'll get. I could get 10, I could get 100. I don't know. So I wanted to explain that. And I also want to explain that if you're on an Apple device, they are probably charging you an extra processing fee, which does not go to me, does not go to YouTube. It goes to Apple. So if at the time you signed up, you were charged $29.99 or something like that, you could cancel and then resubscribe to the channel using a non-Apple device or using the desktop. And if you were to do that, you'd get the regular $24.99 price. But I hope that in the months to come, you find value in these readings, and that maybe the $24.99 in hindsight won't be so much of a financial drain on you. I really hope that it's not. And if I ever get to a point where I have a lot of subscribers and I'm able to like reduce that price because of the volume, I will certainly do that. Okay, I'm not trying to be greedy here at all. But that's what I have for you, Gemini. I thank you once again for all of your support. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.